Hi, welcome everyone. We are really thrilled today to be able to have a chat to Tanzyn Crawford, who is one of our rising stars for this year of the Casting Guild of Australia. But before we start, I just want to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which I'm meeting on, which is the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I'm not sure who the traditional owners are of the people where Tanzyn is at the moment, because she's on the other side of the world and has kindly agreed to do this from her location. But welcome Tanzyn. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I probably, that's a good point. I should look up who was the, First Nations people of California.
Yes, and that's where you are at the moment.
Yes.
Wonderful. All right, so let's get stuck in. You're another incredibly talented Western Australian, which I love the fact that we have so many. We grow talented actors in WA. Tell me about your earlier life. You grew up part of the time in Australia and part in the US, is that right?
Yes. So I was born in East Fremantle. And I basically, really, I lived in Australia for most of my life. My dad is from the US, so I have family in Indiana. So there was like a little bit of traveling back and forth throughout my young years, and then as a teenager too, but mostly Perth.
Wonderful. Now, you did the diploma in screen performance at WAPA, the Screenies course, which is the 1-year part-time course, and you did that back in 2021. Tell me about your experience doing that. Have you found it? I mean, I suppose it must have been very valuable to you. You learnt some skills there.
Absolutely. I mean, it was. Probably, I was just talking about this the other day. I think that was probably the best year of my life. I don't think I've had as much growth in my life as I did during that year. I was homeschooled for a lot of my high school years. And then when I went to university, I went to Murdoch. It was like my first year was during COVID. So I didn't really get that experience really being at a school in a classroom with people. So really going to WAPA was the first time in like a couple of years where I had like a group of people to go see 6 days a week. And it just was such an incredible experience. I made incredible friendships, of course, and I learned so much. I feel like I grew as an actor. I learned what my weaknesses were, and I learned how to be kind of vulnerable in the right moments. And then, of course, I just learned practical things of how to conduct yourself on set and where to stand at the right time and how to make an impression on a casting director, and all the important to know behind the scenes as well. But for my creativity, I definitely feel like I flourished.
It's great, yeah, and it is a wonderful course. I'm teaching out there tonight in this Screenies course. Fantastic. All right. So then, what was your first kind of breakout role? Was that Swift Street?
Well, I would say my first ever role, or the biggest role, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, well, what was your first ever role?
My first ever role
Started it?
it was a TV show that was filming in Philadelphia, and I got a little guest star spot on it. And it was a TV show called Servant. It was on Apple TV. And yeah, I was just in 2 episodes, and that was my very first time on set. And I instantly fell in love. I did have like a little bit of worry, like maybe I really love the character and research and behind the scenes stuff or before set stuff. What if I'm not equipped for set? So I had like a little moment of that before I went. And then my first day I called up my manager and I was like, oh my God, I love this so much. I need to do this forever.
Wonderful. I think every actor has imposter syndrome early on in their careers, and some later on in their careers too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. No, but I just not only that, I felt so prepared by Whopper too, which was, yeah, I felt like I knew how to conduct myself on set day one, and I was trying so hard not to seem like a newbie. But I think I got set up pretty well by Whopper, so I was okay. But I guess like the breakout role, I suppose, was a TV show that I did called Tiny Beautiful Things. That one, actually, I auditioned for it while I was in Philadelphia, just from my hotel room. And then I filmed that one in Los Angeles, like where I am right now. And I think that was like something that my first ever series regular role, and on a US TV show too, was like crazy. So
And
I
with
think,
Katherine Hahn, who just is amazing. What an actor, yeah.
I mean, I
And
learned so much.
congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was like true. That was between the guest star and that, I did like one short film and a commercial and something, but really that was like what I would consider my second role. So I was still very new, and I just learned so much from everybody, not just like the other actors, but the showrunners and the producers and the sound people and camera operators. Like there was just so much to absorb.
Fantastic. From that, you was then your next role Swift Street in Australia, filming in Melbourne?
Yes, that was the next thing that I filmed. Tiny Beautiful Things came out in like March, I think, of 2023, and then I came back to Australia in like June of 2023. And then I went, yeah, straight to Melbourne to start filming.
And that must have been an amazing contrast, having the experience of working on a series in Los Angeles and then your next one in Melbourne. What did you find as being the main or significant differences between those two filming experiences or shoots?
That's a good question. Well, I think just for me personally, I was, the lead of Swift Street. So I felt like I gave myself a lot. I think there was a lot more responsibility, but I put a lot of pressure on myself to like really lead a show. That's what I learned on Tiny Beautiful Things, is that, the number one on the call sheet, number two, they really like impact everybody on set, and they kind of set the tone. And so I wanted to come in and make sure that I was bringing the right kind of vibe on set.
Yeah.
But I think my experience on set on Swift Street, it was a much smaller, I mean, it was still like a large production, but it was a much smaller crew and more intimate and a lot more collaborative. I think, I mean, how lucky am I to have the writer to also be the director, to have his creative input right there. Whereas on Tiny Beautiful Things, you kind of had to run things past the higher ups and, check in with before things could be shifted a little bit, before you could say a line or not say a line, take it out of the script, whatever. So having more creative input on Swift Street, I think was definitely such a blessing. And yeah, just like the intimacy of knowing even everybody's name on Swift Street, all the crew, I interacted with everyone. Whereas on Tiny Beautiful Things, there was like 100 people in the lot at all times, and I didn't meet a lot of them. So,
and
yeah.
were you able then, when you were working on Swift Street, because the director also wrote it, were you given the permission or allowance to be able to improvise at times in scenes or not?
Yes, absolutely we were. Tig and we worked a lot. I came with a lot of ideas because I write a lot about everything that I do. But even we had like after the initial audition, we had like a Zoom meeting, and I just presented like 7 pages of ideas that I wrote. And we kind of used those, and then we thought of new things together. And so by the time we were on set, I think Tig had like well and truly passed the role on to me and gave me permission to kind of use her as a vessel and take her where I thought she was supposed to be. So definitely room for improv, and even just like changing the meaning of a line by focusing on one word, or just stuff like that was just very open.
Fantastic. Um, you subsequent to doing Swift Street, and by the way, I've got to say your performances in Swift Street are just amazing, and just I mean you and Cliff Curtis, who plays your father in that, it's such a powerful but refreshing representation of a daughter who is kind of flipping the parent paradigm rather than the father being the protector and the carer. The daughter is doing that, and I thought you did that extremely well, and had such a level of authenticity in it too. So bravo on that. Now you are also I believe you've been performing in A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which my son, who is an actor who's now based in London, was also in that as well. He had a small role. Daniel, my son. Yeah. Daniel
Oh
Monks.
yeah.
You wouldn't have been in the same
Oh,
episodes. And tell me about your experience with that. Did you audition for that in Australia or in the US or in the UK?
so I did my initial self-tape just from my house in Fremantle, and then I actually was in San Francisco filming a film, and I did a callback from my hotel room in San Francisco, and then yeah, that was it. And then I finished filming that film, and then I stayed in Los Angeles for a little bit, and then I went home, and then like a week later, off to London. So.
Amazing. And are you in more than one episode in that?
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember how many episodes there are. I think I'm in three of them, and I think there might be five or six. I
Oh,
can't remember.
great. And so this is the latest in the Game of Thrones franchise, so to speak. But it's a prequel, isn't it? It happens some period
It,
of time before the
it's like
other.
a prequel sequel. It's between House of Dragons and Game of Thrones, like right in the
Right.
middle.
And you enjoyed your experience on that? Was that once again a total contrast to your
Yeah,
other major series that you've done?
absolutely. I mean, that is the biggest set I've ever been on. It was filmed, nothing was filmed on a lot. Everything was filmed on location. So
In
it was
Belfast? Were you
uh,
filming in Belfast?
in Belfast. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, maybe Belfast. Yeah, Belfast.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was all built in like the woods somewhere in like this big open field. And it was amazing. I mean, to actually be able to walk through this little village and see, where they're riding on the horses and stuff, it was just amazing. Yeah, the most amount of crew, I think on day one, I was like, this is probably the most people that I've ever had watch me act in real life. Like it was very nerve-wracking. I mean, there was, of course, like extras and other actors, but then there's like 1,000 crew members. It was like crazy. But it was a wonderful experience. I got to be in a new country, and I had beautiful like custom costumes that I've never had that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing was just like, I'm so lucky. It was just such a wonderful experience.
Did you have to learn any particular skills for that, like riding a horse or anything along that line?
No, my character is like a low income kind of person in this world. She's like a puppeteer. Um, but the puppets are like life size. They're not, marionettes or anything. So really it was just I was on stage narrating a play or being an actor in one of the puppet shows. So I mean I'd already put in the work at WAPA, so I'm equipped.
Wonderful, fantastic. Um, can Are you allowed to say what you're working on at the moment in LA?
Yeah, well, I actually was in Toronto. That's why I was
Okay.
here. I'm just stopped here for a little
Break.
meeting, etc. But I was just working on a TV show called Sheriff Country. It's like a spin-off from a TV show called Fire Country. It actually comes out in a couple of days as of the 15th of October for me. So yeah,
Wonderful. And do you know what
yeah.
it's going to be shown on?
I'm
What
not sure.
platform?
Australia. I know it's going to be on Paramount. I'm not sure if do we have Paramount in Australia? I'm not sure.
I
But
think
it'll be
I think Paramount shows often get shown on binge in Australia.
what it'll be. Binge.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful. How exciting. Gosh. So your career has taken quite a dramatic trajectory since 2021 when you graduated from that Whopper diploma course. So quite amazing. And what advice would you give to emerging actors? I know that's a big question, but
What?
for us to round off our chat today, what would you give or what would you want to have told your slightly younger self?
Sure. I would say now being a couple years into it, I would say always bring your point of view into anything that you do. Whether it's an audition, of course, it's good to have your own perspective and your own interpretations on things, but your own point of view in terms of things that you like to audition for, people that you meet. I think it's really important that you show your individuality because I think that really like attracts people when they can tell that you're authentically yourself. Yeah, and I think it's not a just listen to it one time and then it's done. You really have to work on it. Just being authentic and trusting your own ability and learning that what you bring is just as valuable as what anyone else can bring. So even if it doesn't, even if you don't get the role because of that, then there's nothing you can do more. There's nothing you can change because if you're being yourself and you're bringing your own interpretation, then that's all you can do. I don't think you have to think about what other people are going to bring and then try to copy it or try to match it or try to be different on purpose. Because I think you can really just see right through that as a casting director or as anybody really, just a friend, I think.
Yeah,
But
no, that's
yeah,
very good advice. Very good
so
advice.
yeah.
And it helps to set your self tapes or auditions apart from other people too, because that uniqueness is often the thing that's going to set you apart and get you the work as well.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Tell me, Tanzyn, do you have any aspirations to act on stage?
I I don't know about on stage. Maybe one day. I would love to do a musical because I'm obsessed with musicals, but I got to work on my singing a little bit, I think. So maybe one day. I would never rule it out, but it doesn't call to me as much as on
Sure.
screen does.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. It's been lovely to chat with you. And once again, congratulations on being one of the Casting Guild of Australia's rising stars for 2025. I look forward to continuing to watch your trajectory and hopefully I'll catch up with you when you are back in Perth at some point.
Yeah, thank you.